Hi, it's Baruch, broadcasting today on the American Kabbalah Network. So we started off yesterday, and we said a little bit about the dilemma that Rabbi Shimon saw that allowed him to, that he was faced with, about whether or not to reveal the sodas of Torah or not, because everything, all the sod that we understand comes from Rabbi Shimon. Now, before we get into it, I want to say a little piece that was written by Abraham Amagia. The Amagia is a very secret pirush that's not that easy to understand. Inside, I know I've seen it in the Sharuch Kodesh. So he says like this: Amar Avraham Magia, lahaser michshol mederach ha'ma'anim. So I want to warn you and remove a stumbling block as you start to look into this Idra, because it's going to say a lot of different anatomical things. That people really have not been exposed deeply, which is all of us, into the light of the Kabbalah. So if you're listening, you'll hear, and if you're understanding, you're going to understand. So all of the words that he uses, well, throughout all of his Torah, all of the Zohar. But not only that, but as well specifically in this Edra. So he used a word like this: the forehead of the skull. Sari the Resha, the hairs on the head. Halali the Mocha, or the chamber in which the brain sits. Chutma Datika, or he says the nose of the ancient one. Udnin, Yadin, Raglim. So if he talks about ears or eyes or feet, hands. Zulasim Mechakelim, or there's other ones from different kinds of vessels of different kinds, Hagashmi, and so he may use some word that refers to some kind of a physical vessel, but to Aram, different kind of adjectives to describe them, Becherim Shetoyer Bechem Hashem Yisbarach, that Hashem has described them. But Prat Idra Kadisha Rabbah, and specifically in this Idra, the Idra Kadisha Rabbah, the Idra Kadisha Zuta, those particularly which have tremendous anatomical references. Because these kind of descriptions, like for example the forehead of the skull, that those kind of descriptions, there's lots of them. But their teaching is about things that are really not physical, things that are on the deep internal reality of what makes life be. So all the different limbs, like hands and feet and so on and so forth, and what they are is a vehicle that he says they are comparisons, illustrations, or metaphors and different signs of arrangements of different kinds of things that refer to things that are close to us that we can't really reach or understand, things that are so hidden that we wouldn't understand them. They're nothing physical about them at all. Because there's really no comparison between the spiritual world, that is, he uses the word Beino Yisbarach, between he, may he be blessed, and between us. From any side, from any way that you look at it, there's no way that we could possibly appreciate the spiritual world. So that really be able to understand is to come to the root of the idea of what is making things be. So that's not possible for us. But nonetheless, one of the ways, or two different ways, I mentioned this before, there are two different ways that Rabbi Shimon has given us to be able to understand creation and what's going on around us. One of them is anatomically, and that's what we're to see here. Hashem Yatzilena Meshgios, so Hashem should save us from the mistakes that we made. Amen. Ken Yiratzon. This is all on page Kuf Mem Aleph in the Idra Zuta, in the Mishnah, in the Matok Midrash, Parshas Neso. So now, as we discussed a little bit yesterday, there was a special time that Rabbi Shimon existed. Listening to Rabbi Memran Shir, you realize that the time had come when, as we said yesterday, that Bar Kokhba's revolution failed. Rabbi Akiba, who was a great, great man and created these 24,000 students and all the different faculty that he had and all the different appendages and everything that he had lost it all. And he found himself on the other side of the door. And now he had to begin again, which he did. And Rabbi Shimon is the great, great progenitor of everything that we have, because from the inside we see that actually the tikkun for the world is from the inside, not from the outside. So it doesn't matter really if you're a Democrat or Republican, because it may benefit you in the short run, but they're not going to straighten the world out. Only we who live in dinim can go to the source of the dinim, and we can do something about what's going on. So here's Rabbi Shimon in his dilemma as to whether or not he's going to reveal this. And now he's gotten help, and he's starting to think that, not starting to say, but he's going to start. And he's going to start revealing the hidden Torah. So let me find the place. This is on page Kuf Mem Dalet. We'll read a little bit on the top, and then we'll see the Matuk Midivash, the Pirush on it. So Pasuk Rabbi Shimon, the Omar, he says, he quotes a Pasuk of Tehillim, Eis la'asos lavai, it's time to do something for Yud Kei Vav Kei. My Eis la'asos la'Hashem, what does he mean when he says that we have to do something? Now's the time, do something for Yud Kei Vav Kei. Mishum dehei feiro tzorasecha, because the word hafer here means nullified, that your Torah is going under. There's nothing left. The world out there is shamem. It's been destroyed by the Romans, by the other side, the forces of evil. There's almost nothing left. And if the Jewish people and our connection to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, in other words, his ability for him to manifest himself in this world is through us, then we're going to have powerful tools. My hey Pharaoh Sorasecha, what does it mean when they say that they've nullified your Torah? Torah de la'ela, he means the Torah of secrets. The la'ela means from up above. It means also, as I've said many times, it means from the very incipience of reality, in the panemius of everything. The ichum is batla, that if it gets destroyed, ilo yisavida b'tikunoi, if you don't do something about making a tikkun, da lo'atid yomin itmar. So he says, I guess the translation is that you must start making a tikkun after destruction. And this is referred to the Atik Yamim Itmar. Now, we don't have a definition of Atik Yamim, but Atik Yamin is the first place called Atik. Atik is the first parts of that we have an ability to be able to talk about, really be able to say that this is the beginning of the Tikkun, which is a rebuilding. Now, yesterday we mentioned very quickly the Shvira. It says that's how he started off this, is how long can we stay on one leg. One leg refers to the formation of the dissemination of the light of Hashem towards our world, and it broke. And that's something we have to learn, or we'll be learning about that, but he's going to be dealing with it here as well. So here's what the Matuk V'Davash says. Pasuk, Rabbi Shimon, V'Amar, the Farish, Masha Kosov. So he wants to come and he wants to explain what is the meaning of this Pasuk, Eis Lasos Hashem, Hey Pharaoh Sorasecha. It's a time to do something for you, Hashem, because your Torah has been nullified. And this means that this is the way I understand it, and that's why what we're doing is so unbelievably important. Because if there's no panemius, right, if there's no root, if there's no connection to where everything comes from, the spiritual world, then you could have all the Torah that you want on the outside, but it will collapse because there's no flow from the inside. That's what brings out the outside. Shebapasuk zeh hiskil devorav la'elo. So he takes this pasuk, and this is going to be the first words that he's going to say. V'ata shol. So he asks this question: My eis la'asos la'Hashem. Why is it time to do something for Hashem? Pirish mahat sorach legalos razin doraisa. Why do we need? What's the need to have to start saying the secrets of the Torah, shehem kivshonu shal olam, which are actually, I'm not sure what kivshona means, but literally it means they are the conquering forces of the world. I think that means that they are the most powerful element in the world. The reason why is because your Torah is being nullified. The powers of evil are so great that they're pushing us down into almost nothing. Because there's lots and lots of people who are out there to nullify your Torah. So he says, what does it mean? What's it mean, nullifying your Torah? You don't see Torah around? So what is the Torah that they're nullifying? See if this rings a bell. He answers that it's the Torah from up above. Eis Torah Shalamala, what's the Torah that's up above? Dahainu Eis Sodas Torah, that nobody wants to know about the Sodas of the Torah. They don't want to know why, what causes things, what brings things about. The ihum is batla ilo isa'ave b'tikunido. These things, these sodas, so the flow from the inside, from the Ein Sof Baruch Hu, become nullified if we still start making some kind of a rebuilding process. Shehi mizbatisbatel im lo yehi naase betikun azeh. So we must start some kind of a tikkun. So he said, unless we make this tikkun, then all the Torah is going to wind up being wiped out. Kolomer im ano lo nigla sod olam atikun. So now he wants this forming a new idea. He's saying there is such of a universe which is called the universe of the tikkun, the universe of rebuilding the proper structure to be able to bring the blessing of Hashem into the world, to be able to bring the manifestation of Hashem in the world. That this particular phrase is talking about the first parts of which is the first parts of to be rebuilt after the destruction, which is called the Shvira. This parts of is called Atik Yomim. So he said, "Al tikun shall Atik Yomim in Emer pasuk zeh." So all of this pasuk that he's talking about, how long can we stay on one leg, or just stand on one leg, and then there is destruction. Ki mimenu maskil tikun achatzilus, because from Atik Yomim, again, it's a name. It means the ancient days. He said, which means the beginning of all incipients of anything that we can put our fingers on in the spiritual world. They begin Kamavur Behemshech Idra Kadisha. This is all going to be explained as we go in more deeply into the Idra Kadisha. I'm just checking my time. Okay, going on. Then the Ksiv. There's another pasuk. We're now on the top of page Kuf Mem Hey. Ksiv in Devarim Lamed Gimel Kaf Tes Ashrecha Yisrael Mi Kamocha. Happy are you, or righteous, right are you, Yisrael, who is like unto you? So it goes this way. So one is that Mi Kamocha Yisrael, and here's another one that says Mi Kamocha Avaya. So he said Vahimshek Rabbi Shimon as the Vorav Omar. So he continues on in his words, and he says like this. Kasiv Ashrecha Yisrael is written, happy are you, Yisrael. Ki Mi Kamocha, who is like unto you. Hare Shahatera Meshavacha says Yisrael b'mei kamocha. So there's a definite praise for the Jewish people, where Hashem is saying, "Who is like you? There is no other nation like us." So then we say, well, amongst the gods, Havaya, who is like you? So the Jewish people can answer back the same way. Because also when the Jewish people go to praise Hashem, we say, who is like unto you? Same words. So here we have equivalence, Rabbi Shimon says, between the Jewish people and the praise that Hashem gives to us, and also the praise that there is a level of praise that that is equal to the level of praise in some way of a Kodesh Baruch Hu. So if that's the case, and this is the case that Rabbi Shimon wants to argue, so if it's true that there's a pasuk that equates us in terms of our praise, then certainly it's fitting Heim Yisrael Galos as sodos of the Yishtamesh Bikvodo, to be able to reveal his secrets and to work with his glory. So now we go to another pasuk. So he called to his son Rebbe Elazar. Osve kamei. So he stood him in front of him. Rabbi Abba Misitra Achra. So in the Matak B'Devash, he said that he's going to explain that he's taking these two and he's putting them on his side, one on one side, one on the other. So he says, and we are the incorporation of everything. What does that mean? Ad hashte is kanachu kaimim. So until this time, is the kanachu kaimim that what you have rebuilt is still in place, and we're going to keep it that way. Ishtiku, so they're quiet. Shamu kalos, and then they heard a voice. Varkuv and some kind of an announcement came from one to the next, and they were listening. My kala, so what is this voice? Kala the kafanufiyahilah, the miskanfe. So what is the tremendous noise that he heard? What he heard was the heaven, the host of the heaven, which refers to the malachim. They're all going to come now. And they're going to be in the Idra with all the other Talmidim and the Chavriya of Rabbi Shimon. They all want to listen. So let's see how well I did in the translation. L'chein Hiskel Rabbi Shimon, we're down here beginning the second paragraph on page 145. L'chein Hiskel Rabbi Shimon, the hakin as atzmo shehu bechinas keser rosh kav im soy. Now, it took a little moment because we have no introduction to this for those who have not learned the Otzros Chaim yet, that he says that at the beginning of creation, we have a concept of the Tikkun, rather. We have the concept of 3 lines. Rabbi Shimon Keser is in the middle line, and it's called Kadati. Keser, Das, Tiferes, Yesod, and actually it's Kadatim. There's a Malchus runs down the middle line. So he says, he's at the Keser is the highest level. It's at the middle, it's at the top of a middle line. So he also then he called to Rabbi Elazar, his son, and he said he should stand next to me. Kares Benosh, Rabbi Elazar, the father of the Yamino, puts it in front of him on his right. Ki hu bechinas chachma rosh kav yamim, because he's the aspect of chachma. He's the beginning of the right line, the head of the right line. But the Rebbe Abba, Mesitra Achran, Rebbe Abba, he put him on the other side. But the Rebbe Abba Hoshi Mitzad Acher, he put him on the other side, which is the left side, the Haina Mitzad Smalo, on his left side. Ki hu bechinas bina rosh kav small. So Rebbe Abba then is the aspect of bina. He's the head of the left line. So now we have 3 lines. We have a middle line, a right line, and a left line. So he has a principle. He says that in these 3 lines are all of the other spheros. Because we represent the beginning of the lines. Shehem kololim as kol ha-shlosha kavim, because they have within them all of the other spheros in the shlosha kavim, in the 3 kavim. Now we have this word kav, which means the lines. So these lines are like this. On the right line is the line which is called chachan, which the head of that line is called chachma. And then the lower part of that line, the middle part of that line is called chesed, and the lower part of that line is called netzach. And this really refers to the right brain, down the right arm, and the right leg. Now again, I'm using these words, and don't think for a minute that there's something physical like that looks like this in any way. Any more than you could see, like when you look at the constellations and you see, well, there's this constellation called Orion. Well, like if you don't know what you're looking for, you could look all over the joint. And this is talking about something physical, where trying to figure out where Orion's belt is and which one makes this and that one makes that. Here we're talking, Rabbi Shimon is giving us a way to understand the flow of the blessing of Hashem and the functioning of what sustains life in 3 lines. So that first line is called Chacham. The second line, which is the line of the left, is called Baga, which is Bina, Gevura, and Hod. The third line, which is the one that he started with, which is called Kedatim, Keser, Das, Tiferes, Yesod, Umalchus. This is just something that we need to know. We haven't discussed this. We haven't gone into it in detail. We don't know how they develop or anything about them, which is what, of course, the Rav deals with in the Eitz Chaim. So he says, of Amma Rebbe Shimon, and now Rebbe Shimon speak. Ad hashta ad ata sheyashveno ano ashlosho v'samcheno l'bayar es sod olam atikun. So now that we've come, we've got ourselves settled down, and we have these 3 of us here, which represents the 3 lines. We're going to come and start to talk about the olam called the olam atikun. So later on, we're going to see that there are different olamos. There is called the olam of akudim. There's the olam which means the binding. There's an olam called nikudim, which are different dots which have light flow through them. And then we come to the olam atikun, which is the olam that we live in now, the rebuilding, the world of rebuilding. So he says, Istaken kaimim, nisakno amudim shel haparsa, Shalaparsa. So he says, Kanizka, the Kaman, is going to explain this parsa, which means the way that they built the parsa is a curtain. Because when these three men are now standing together, then come and stand next to them four different columns that represent the four different directions. And regarding to this, in regard to the separation, there is a curtain or some kind of a garment that a veil, let's say, that separates them. Paroches Kedushas V'Elyonim, which are on a very high level. V'sham Yardu Hashchina, and into that level, the Shechina is going to come. So what did he do? He took these three, which represents the Rosh Kavan, which represents the flow. Because of the Kedusha that was around them, then these columns appeared around them in all the four different directions, as if covered by curtains. And in that space, in there, the Shekhinah is going to reveal itself. Now, normally when he says the Shekhinah, he means the actual phrase would mean the Malchus of Atzilus, which is our opening to the most high place we could possibly come to, closest we can come to Hashem, Atzilus. Let me see if I lost the place. So he says the amudim, the columns of the four walls. He puts there is some kind of a curtain. And then the Shekhinah comes, v'niskabsach malachi hasharesh, and around her comes all of the angels that serve Hashem, v'neshamas kedushos, and also inside of them are neshamos of holiness. V'kasher Rabbi Shimon, v'kasha'amar Rabbi Shimon l'havrecha shenisakdach hamudim, and so now as Rabbi Shimon starts to speak to the Chevria, which has established and put up these poles in order to be able to make this holy place, oz ishtiko. So when that happens, they all became completely quiet. Shasku chachaverim lachazos b'noam bias hashkina v'neshamas tzadikim. So then they were completely quiet, because then they saw the greatness of the Shekhinah was appeared before them, and also the neshamas of the tzaddikim that came along with them. And when that happened, they were all quiet. All their own personal thoughts of the private things that they worried about all left them, and they just were completely open. And then they heard a voice. Shamo kol shal hapalmalia shama'ala. So they heard the voices of the angels. Sheyarda v'nislavsha ba'osach parochas, that came down and they were inside of these curtains. Var kuvata da l'da b'nachsha birchechem ra'adu, and their knees were shaking. V'nachshu zubazu, and they banged against each other. Me'emes hashchina, because the Shekhinah is before them, and is a sense of tremendous fear or awesomeness that actually was again inside of them, and they were trembling. Befarish my kala, so he explains what is the voice that they heard. Ma kol shamach chaverim, what voice did the chaverim hear? V'ama kala the kanufia ilah the miskanfe. So he said, because he translated what's kanufia ilah, hakol shal palmalia shama'ala, he means the host of angels. Sheniskabzach the shmo is so the sheyigdal Rabbi Shimon. Maybe their wings are banging against each other. I don't know, but they heard the commotion, the voice, and the sound. He says the voice. He says the call, the voice of these malachim. He also mentioned the neshamas and tzaddikim who are now coming to hear Rabbi Shimon. Rabbi Shimon sha'ais ratzon harui l'gilu yasodis. And when Rabbi Shimon saw this, and he saw all of this came to listen, they're all there now. Their presence is before him. Then he knows that this is the time it's kosher. This is the time that he has to start to reveal this Torah. So let's do one more. Chade Rebbe Shimon v'Amar. So Rebbe Shimon was extremely happy, and he said, Havaya Hashem Shemati Shema'acha Yeresi. Hashem Shemati, I have heard. Shema'acha, your hearing, Yeresi, and I become frightened. So he says, Hasam Yos Havach the Mehevet Dechil. So over there, it's certainly proper to be frightened. Anan b'chabivusach tal yachamelsa. But we, with a tremendous love for you, that's really what's involved with us. So he said, V'ahavata Hashem Elokecha, you should love Hashem, your God. Uchasiv me'avachas Hashem itchem, for the love of Hashem is with you. Uchasiv ahavti esachem, and I love you. So how's this go? A little bit more. Let me see. Matuk Midevash in the bottom of page Kuf Mem Hey. V'chein Chadi Rabbi Shimon Samach Rabbi Shimon. So Rabbi Shimon was tremendously happy. V'amar el Chavria Gam Atem Tismachu Imi V'ein Lechem Ma Livchached V'liyara Kol Kach. So he says, look, I'm overwhelmingly happy. I have no words to be able to describe my happiness. And also, it's for you. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid of what you see before you, because understand, the Shekhinah is a very strong agent of tremendous radiation of nothingness. And that's what scares us. We'll stop being, because we're physical. This is something that's not physical at all, but nonetheless, noise comes from it, the sound comes from it, the call that he heard. So he's like, Masha Kosev, but he says, Hashem, Shemati, Shimacha, Yeresi. So this pasuk where it says, Hashem, Shemati, I listen, Shema'acha, Yeresi, those words, the things that I hear from you, I'm afraid of them. Pasuk Zeh Ne'emar, so this pasuk is said, Kishra Chabakuk, a Navi, when Chabakuk saw, B'maros HaNevuah, through his prophecy, as a Sarah Haruge Malchus, he was able to see the 10 men, including Rabbi Akiva, who were killed by the Romans. Asher Nishmal Seichem, that their souls, Choya Mibechinas Gevuros, their souls were from different aspects of Gevuros, which we're not here to explain right now. V'chein Ama Yeresi, so therefore we use the word Yeresi, because Yira, or fear, goes along with Gevura. V'zeh Ama Hasim Ya'us Havaya LeMechebed Dechil, Im Choy Yeruah Lechiyos Yared V'chared, Yared V'chada, if it was proper to be frightened and tremble. Aval Anan B'chevivuz Hechatal Yamilsa, but we're not here because of fear. We're here because of love. Anachne Ba'avar V'tului Adavar. Ki Nishmal Seino Heim HaMechachasadim Shehem B'bechidas Ava, because our souls are souls that come from love. Remember, originally in the one that we learned yesterday, he said that these were 10 people, all of which were different aspects of Chesed. Because we have a person, a pasuk there, and we love a Kodesh Baruch Hu. And it says, because of the shefen that that Hashem loves you, and I love you. That he also loves us. So therefore, don't be afraid that you're being exposed to something you'll be punished for because you're not fit. Let me just see how my time is going. I think that's where we're going to stop here. So maybe there's one more. I could do one more. I'm going to have to wing it because I see that I must have skipped pages in preparation. Okay. Last one. On page Kuf Mem Vav. Rabbi Shimon Pasach V'Omar. So he began and he said like this. Holech Rachel Megalil Sod. So this is about a Richol, as a traveling salesman. The person is going around traveling and saying this to that one and that one to this one. He says this person starts revealing secrets. V'ne'eman ruach machase davar, and a person who has a true spirit, he covers things up. Holech Rachel. So what does it mean when he says a person is going as a traveling salesman, as a gossip, really? Hai kra kasha. This is a problem pasuk. Came in the Itmar Rachel amai holech. So if it says he's a Rachel, he's a gossip, why is he walking? Ish Rachel meboy lemeimor. You need, instead of, he said, what is his holech Rachel? It should be, say, a person who's a Rachel instead of a person who's going Rachel. The meimer man holech, in order to say who is it that's doing the walking. So let's see, this is the last one, but we should have started there for the next time, which we will. But let's read it as long as I open it up. Let's see what the Matak B'Davash says about it. Because Hiskel Rebbe Shimon Begiloi Asodas, Hisker as HaChevriach Milagalos as Hasodas, the She'enim Ru'uyim. So here, he wants to give a warning to saying sodos, secrets, to people who are not fit to hear them. And the people are out like that. The Chaim Rabbi Shimon pasuk v'omer. So therefore he begins and he says like this: Ksiv holech rachel megali sod. Pirish hamagala sod chaveru harehu holech rachel. Because a person who is telling a secret about his friend, this is a person who is going along as a gossip. V'ne'ema ruach mechase davar. So he says v'ne'eman ruach. He says v'chami shuhu ne'eman ruach. So a person who has a faithful spirit, he mechase hasod v'chalimo. So then he covers up the secrets. He puts them away. V'shol masha kosta. So he asks, what does it read in holech rachel? Hai kra kasha. He says that just going and being a rachel, he says that doesn't make any sense. Pasuk zeh kasha lahavin. It's very difficult to understand this, he says. Ki ish rachel miboy le'lememor. You should have said a person who's spreading gossip. Ish rachel ko yitzarech lomor. Should have said that. He doesn't have to go anywhere to be able to spread gossip or reveal secrets. Gam came Nikra Rachel, but nonetheless he's still called a Rachel. Rachel refers, like I said, to a traveling salesman type person. But even that he's caused even he's going there. My cholech lama kasev holech. So why is it writing that he's walking? Okay, that's the shir for today, and hopefully we'll be able to continue on, at least on Fridays. If I can, as much as I can, to be able to reveal as much of this Idra Sutra as I'm capable. Thanks so much for listening.